Greetings, everyone. Welcome on board. Thanks for tuning in. So, as you can see, this is not going to be one of our typical videos. This is actually being made with the intention for Doppler to be able to learn how to edit videos, because in the somewhat future, he is going to be editing videos as well, or trying to be able to help me out with the workload. And because with my current employer, I only have 2 days off. Well, standard for most people, I guess. But with one of the previous employers that I had 3 days off. So my time off has been cut down significantly. So I really can't do as much as I did before. In doing this, I considered that not only could I give Doppler some benefit of learning how to edit so he has something to reference, but also figured that maybe some of you that are considering video editing or trying to do video editing can learn from the little basics that I've been able to develop as far as workflow goes. The other reason is maybe some of you all can teach me some better video editing workarounds and techniques. This is being done in DaVinci Resolve Studio 20. So this is a studio version, just so I could actually use my hardware acceleration for the 4080 that I have. Just it goes so much fucking faster. But yeah. We are going to get into doing a edit tutorial on a video that we recently recorded, and that was Doppler and I ended up doing a single review on the new 7 Dust track. Is This the Real You? Or at least at the time of filming. So I am going to kind of intentionally show Doppler how this is done, but also for anyone else that is curious on how editing is generally done. And I have a very basic structure of how I do it. This simply takes me about 15-20 minutes. This video is probably going to be longer just with explaining everything, but hopefully it's not too confusing, because I can have some bag-ass methods, I feel like. So, that being stated, let's get into it. So, this is the main screen that you're going to have once you start a new project and you name the project. This is what's going to come up. And you can drag and drop your media files into this. I don't care to do that, to be honest, because for whatever reason, and maybe it's a placebo effect, to be honest, but the videos, even if it's by 2 or 3 seconds, they seem to take longer to get initialized into this media pool on the cut screen. So I personally go to edit, and from here I'm gonna go down to my file explorer, where so I did attempt to do this previously, and I had the background tunes that I typically have from Regnum Umbre that I really enjoy listening to. It's a combination of like rain and classical piano, so it's something that kind of gets me in the nice mood to be able to edit and just kind of get into my workflow. But something went wrong with that. Just something I didn't consider. I shouldn't have had the background tunes. As you can hear, there's now nothing, which I'm gonna maybe add the background tunes into this. We'll see what happens. But so yeah, as you can see, all this has been done already, but I'm gonna go and do it again anyway. So this is the original video, 7 Dust Is This the Real You? I'm going to left click that. I'm going to drag it over here to media pool, copy. It's going to ask change project frame rate. The selected clips have a different frame rate to the project. Honestly, I don't even remember what the project frame rate is in comparison to that, so I'm just going to hit don't change, because it really don't matter to me. Alright, so I'm going to go over to up here, actually, where we have HMD for HTML checkers page. Go into our backing tracks, get our little background image we use, and the backing tunes we use. Drag all those over to there. Back out of there. We are hosts. Get our little intro segment that we have that honestly we need to probably change, because we don't really specialize in anything as far as genres go. We have genres that we're interested in, and we have more knowledge base in those particular genres. So I think specializes in, since we don't get very analytical anymore, even though I'm kind of trying to get back to where I was, because I feel like I was a better reviewer in the beginning, but for whatever reason, I've kind of dropped it. I don't know if it's because I've just been doing this for so long now. It's just dropping it. But anyways, I digress. I think I'm going to modify that. So I'm going to grab the actual video, left click it out of the media pool, and drag it right there. And you'll see this pop up like this. Just drag it over to the left to where it snaps and let go. And so you'll see how the video is here. This is video 1. This is audio 1. I am not going to leave it this way because our mics are at different levels for whatever reason, because I'm running an SM7B. Doppler and Frosty both use just their Trekker headsets, which is the same as I use, Blue Tiger Storm. I use Storm Black. They use other colors, but it's the Blue Tiger Storm essentially. So our audio levels are different. So what I'm going to do is going left click here and go all the way up here to timeline. Left click there, go down to quote unquote AI tools, which they really just need call to analyzer. I fucking hate that AI term. And I'm going to go over to audio assistant, left click, and delivery standard YouTube, because that's where we send our videos, and auto mix. Now, typically during this time, I will also go in and look for, so since we're doing 7 Dust, this particular single, I'll go on to Google, or I'll actually do Firefox, and I look at in images, just that, to see if there's like a snippet photo from that music video, or there's a group photo that's whatever related to the group, and I will go ahead, save that image, and I'll set it to the side for being able to make a thumbnail. And then, like, I'll kind of let you know towards the end of what my flow is, because it works for me. So now, kitty. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm gonna do here is left click, or actually no, I'm gonna right click on here. Hold up. Okay, left click there. Right click. Okay, now it says link clips. So that's checked. We're gonna uncheck that. Click there. Go back to click on here. The reason we're doing this, and we're gonna go right in between this bar right here. Wait for that icon to change. And we're gonna left click, pull that down, because I'm going to left click and move this video up. So this way, our background photo can actually be a background photo, and it won't be layered on top, because if I had this video as video 1 and that photo as video 2, that would overlay on top of this. That's not what I want. So I'm going to left click here and drag that down to video 1. I'm going to go over here to this side. I'm going to zoom in to where it's about this size. I'm going to left click here, move this all the way to here, hover over to the edge till that icon shows up, to where I left click, and I just stretch this out. Zoom out, stretch, zoom out, and stretch it to the end, or where that's the end. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to zoom on in. And we're going to begin the process of segmentation. And this is where I begin to make 4 different segments. One for the intro, where I completely introduce the channel and what we do. That's sectioned out to where we have our little intro segment. That's the second one. And then the third one here is where I introduce what video we're doing and what track we're checking out, or what album reviewing, whatever the case, what we're doing. That's 3. Technically, that can kind of be 2, since that's the video portion. The track here is the actual music track. Is segment, what I consider segment 3, and then dialogue, which is segment 4. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play this up to the point of where I pull down OBS screen, and we kind of just get ready to begin talking, or at least I do. All right, so right here is shortly where I begin talking and doing our introductions. So now, as you can see, I have my left mouse, I have my mouse over the edit mode. I'm gonna left click that, come over here, and I did this again. I'm gonna do selector. I almost forgot to do this again. Selector mode, left click the top video. I'm going to hit Control on the keyboard and left click that so that these two are clicked. I'm now going to right click and hit link clips. So that way the rest of this editing process is so much easier. It's absolutely pointless if this is not done. So I'm going to go back to the trim tool and trim right there. Now that's highlighted and we don't need that. I'm going to go on the keyboard, hit delete, and then our video will start there. Go ahead and play. Welcome aboard and thanks for tuning in to the Heavy Metal Truckers, where we give our honest thoughts and perspectives. We're mostly your host, Frosty, had to go and do a thing. Okay, so there I stop at saying we are your hosts. I'm going to left click this trim, this little edge cutter thing, and left click to cause a separation between that segment and that segment. Left click this selection tool, left click here so it highlights both the top and the video portion and the dialogue, and just drag it over. Because what I'm going to do here, so what I did there, this little black bar that separates the actual video being played and to monitor and the actual video segments. I'm going to crease that so I can go over here and pull this down, because I'm going to take our intro segment in the media pool, left click, and drag it down right there. I'll be video 3 technically, and under audio 2. So now I'm going to go over here to this part, and I'm going to drag it over here. So that way, it lines up perfectly. So the reason I make this a dialogue mix and I don't mess with this is because, which I believe I've already explained, but our audio levels are not perfectly aligned. My audio level tends to be lower than the others, so I use the dialogue mix to make it more level and fairly on par. This, because it's already leveled, I don't need to mess with it, so I'm leaving that as is. And as soon as I drag this over, I immediately go over to the mixer under audio 2, which is this, and I take this mixer fader and drag it all the way down to -25, because that's just what works. And as you can hear, go and do a thing. And at the end there. In this video, we are checking. So the audio levels are generally pretty solid. So I'm going to leave that as is. And I'm going to cut it again just after we introduce what video we're doing and then going into the video. So there's going to be a little section right here I'll trim out and I'll show you how that's done. So spacebar play. In this video, we are checking out the latest single from Seven Dust to see what they've got going on. And this single is called Is This the Real You? All right, pause there because I've introduced the track. Trim tool, go down here where this is and left click. And that's been trimmed both at the top and bottom. Now I'm going to go over here to where the video portion is and find where I pop up our little video portion down here. All right, so right there is where, again, our video portion appears right there. So I'm going to take that trim tool and cut right there. Take the selector tool, click this portion since it's not needed, delete key, and now a seamless transition. Alrighty. Now for this part, I'm going to swing all the way over here, click here, and just wait till the music ends. All right, so it ends right there. I'm going to trim that off. All right, so here is where we've gone away from this, and we're about to begin speaking on what we just heard. So I'm going to click here to trim that part, and this is part we don't need either, so left click that, click delete, and that drags it over to there. So now what I do here, I do not leave the music there because as you can hear, it's going to be distorted. It's because of the compression due to the dialogue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out with this. And so this, I'm going to click down here on the audio, and as you can see, this and this are highlighted. So I need to right click here, unlink the clips. Go down here anywhere, left click, and then go back to the audio, left click there. I am now going to drag this down so that it's been untouched by the dialogue mix filtering. So now, forgive me, I almost blew everyone's ears out, so I'm going to actually take the audio 3, which is that portion, lower it down to about 12, maybe 14, depending on what it is, but I think 12 will work for this as well. So if we go to listen again. All right, and typically I do like the music to be a tad louder than our dialogue. Man, why does everyone... But it's generally on the same level, being at -12, so we just roll with that. So now what I'm going to do is, before I do anything else, is whenever I begin trimming the bottom and the top of our videos to how they normally look and how everyone tends to see it. And I completely forgot it again. This part, as you can see, the little truck background, I tend to forget this sometimes in the very beginning. I'll left click here, control, click, click, and to those different sections. So now that's also all being treated as one piece. And I'm going to go up here to where it says video, transform, where it says zoom, and you're going to see this picture start to stretch up to here, and I'm going to try and get it just up to this point or a little past. So I'm going to go back up to zoom on the X, left click that number, and just drag it to the right, and that works. All right, so go over to here, drag this down to where I can really see things. I'm going to go down to here, and I'm going to scroll up so that I can left click this. I can hold control, left click that, and left click that, so they can act as one video being edited or modified. I would go over to cropping, where it says crop top here. I'm going to click right on the numbers, drag it to the right, and you'll see that top part move down. I'm going to get it to roughly there. Go to the crop bottom, do the same thing, drag it to the right where that's being lifted up to honestly about there, because since Frosty isn't here, this is a little bit taller, so that's what's going to have to work. Typically it's like right at that light bar, but can't do it with this. So here I'm going to go to the actual music, and I'll explain why this is done differently. So whenever we go to throw our text in, we don't have a solid black bar here. So we're going to end up creating one. So I have to make room for that. So we're going to do the same thing. Grab the top, and I'm just going to move that down to about there. Grab the bottom, pull that up to roughly there. That should work. And now, before we get to the text, I'm going to go over here, left click this audio. I'm going to go over here to where the timestamps are. Click somewhere in there so it can be focused on this portion. Come over here and zoom in. Because what I'm looking for, as you can see, my audio in comparison to Doppler and Frosty's. This is what their audio looks like. This is mine. So I need to make sure that any silences here, any kind of uncertainties, or any kind of pausing that we do is generally cut out just to make the video a little bit shorter. It's not dragging on. But I gotta also make sure that with the technique I'm about to do, that I've recently started doing, that this part doesn't get cut out. And so for this part, since it's really silent here, I go and listen to this.
Satan looked like the bad guy.
So I'm still speaking and giving some somewhat usable information. So I want to make sure that that stays. So with this all left clicked, I'm going to go up here to the top left under clip. Click that. Under audio operations, go under ripple, delete, silence. And just like in what I'm used to doing with Pro Tools, ripple, delete, ripple, silence. Or how is it they said it? Ripple, delete, silence. Okay. So this is going to remove all the silences in between. So I'm going to go up here to the threshold. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to lower this because as you're going to see, this is going to start to shorten up to where it's just those little gaps. So move it, move it, move it, move it, and right till about there. As you can see, most everything that we've got going on, these gaps, with the exception of like that, and that is being removed. So I'm curious if I can get that taken out as well. So let me move this up a little bit. So I technically can, but that begins to cut into what I'm saying here as well. So I'm curious, minimum to strip. So I'm going to move this back so that there's less of a minimum that needs to be had for it to be able to strip out. So if I do that and it's down to 16, you'll notice that now this can be taken out. But the problem is, if I zoom in, how close that red line is to that, which means once this ends, it's going to abruptly go into there. So I got to make sure that that doesn't get cut off too much and that's still being cut off. So what I'm going to do for this to make sure that that is a good example. If this audio still gets through completely, I'm going to go to this prehead, click on here, and drag it over to the right. Oh, well, my bad. That's going to do it from here. For this audio, for the pre of this audio, it's going to make sure that this comes through just like that. So that's going to move right to there. And let me back out to see if it's doing much of anything. Okay, so as you can see, whenever I did one frame, it cut out that audio too. So this is kind of a thing you got to play with. So since that's good, that might be okay. The tail ends of these are not so great, like this. What's this?
Well, as I'm
Okay, so that was just that doesn't need to be there. So what I'm gonna do now is go to post tail. So that means so like this. If I want to give space to that, I'm going to take this post tail, move it over to 2 frames. So see, you can see there, that actually gives it room to breathe at the end there. Well, this, I don't know how that's going to go. And that's doing okay. That I'm a little concerned about. So I'm going to go ahead and click crossfade audio so that this has a smooth transition in between the audio. I'm going to go ahead and remove, and we're going to see how this goes. It may not go well, might go all right. We're going to see.
Man, why does everyone always gotta make Satan look like the bad guy? Like, damn.
well, as I've said when we've covered them before, I've always been a big fan of Seven Dust. Basically since they started. Of course, they're from Atlanta. I grew up there, so
it's true.
Yep.
Okay, that's a little abrupt for me in multiple sections. So I'm going to go ahead and redo that. Go up to clip, audio operations, ripple, delete, silence. And I'm going to focus on, say, this area. So you can see minimum strip 16, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and ensure that the beginnings of some of this audio is not affected. Okay, so that's much, gives us much more room to breathe. And some areas are going to be not cut out, so that is not going to be cut out, which that's probably fine. And okay, that seems okay. Let's try to remove it now. See if that's any better.
Man, why does everyone always gotta make Satan look like the bad guy? Like, damn.
Well, as I've said when we've covered them before, I've always been a big fan of Seven Dust.
Mhm.
Basically since I started. Of course, they're from Atlanta. I've seen them. Seen them in concert.
A lot of sense now. Holy shit! I'll get into why.
Yeah, they're from Atlanta. And they
Okay, that seems a lot more natural, even though, yes, you can tell we're cutting out a good many segments. It's just whenever we come back in with the video clips that do make it through, the space in between is a lot more natural. It's not so abrupt, which is a big pet peeve of mine for people that do try and cut stuff out. It seems very abrupt and it's a little jarring, so I want to avoid that. But now what I also do is, as you guys know, anyone that knows this channel knows that I knows my ending phrase of keep rolling heavy. Sometimes doing this method cuts that out, so let's see what happened here.
Lyrically or literally, keep rolling heavy.
So I actually didn't do too bad there. I've been noticing I've been able to hone that in better. But I still wish it was a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm going to carry it out to about there. Let's check it out.
Whether musically, lyrically, or literally, keep rolling heavy.
That is so much better. Now, how many people actually watch to the end? I don't know, and probably not nearly as many as I think. People probably only realistically watch like half of our video, but if it's going to be out there, someone could watch to the end, and I don't want it to be so jarring. So that's been taken care of. Now for this portion, what I'm going to do is go to the text. So what I did was I went up to effects, up to title as text, left clicked, held, and put right above this up to video 4. So now, right in this timestamps, we're going to left click here. We're going to zoom in. And as you can see, our cursor is here, drag it to the edge. And we can move this edge up to there. That doesn't get the title because, well, it's like our intro, so I don't think it needs it. Left click this, control copy, snap over to here. The next segment, control V, paste it over. Now, since this doesn't come right to here, I'm just going to go ahead and snap it over. Control C, control V. Zoom out. I can see the edge of this, and this is still long enough for me to grab the end of this, drag it over up to there. Do the same thing. Click Control C, snap it over here, Control V. Then zoom out, grab this, and pull it all the way over here to the end, and Control Save. All right, so here, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a reason I explained a little bit why I do these 4 different segments. So since this is right here, I'm gonna left click here, hold Control, click this, and then click that. So now I'm able to control this, this, and this all at once. So go up here to the right under title, under video, and then just type in our channel name, font family. This is where I put in, we use Metal Mania for our font, in case anyone was curious. And I'm going to go into settings. And on the position for the y-axis, we're going to drag this to the left to pull it down. Right there will work. So now I'm going to go down to composite where it says opacity, however you want to say it. Left click that number once, and I'm just going to type in 25. Because that's typically what we use, and what works for us is 25. So as you can see, this is done. Left click onto this, timestamp. That section is done, and the beginning as well. Now for this, for the middle and for the music, I do a little bit extra. Go over here to title, and again put in the name, typical font. Over to settings, position y-axis, and move it down roughly there. Now what I'm going to do here is go back over to title, scroll all the way down to where it says background. I'm going to go to height, click, and drag to the right so that you'll see, as you can see here beside this, a little black bar is being made. And I get it up to the height of that video, go back over here to width, and just drag it out so it's just one long bar with that. For the opacity here, I'm going to click, hold, shoot to the right so it is very bold, but we do not keep it that way. I'm going to go over here to settings at the right, click, scroll down to composite on that whole piece. Opacity, left click, and I'm going to put 70 for 70%. And that's how that is done. And at this point, all that's needed now is over here on the media pool, our background tunage. We're going to drag it all the way to the very beginning. We're going to get our cutter tool, left click there, go back down to where this is, and it's going to snap right to the beginning where that starts. Go over to selector tool, click, hold, and move it over there. Grab trim tool again to where this begins. Cut it there. Selector tool, click, hold, and drag that out. And now we're going to come to the very end. Trim tool, right to the end there. Just drag that out. And left click there for the very end of that. And delete. So as you can now see, everything should be good. Now before you click play, it's going to be fucking loud. We're going to go over to audio 4, which this backing tune is. We're going to lower this to -43. And this should work out well.
Welcome aboard, and thanks for tuning in to the Heavy Metal Truckers, where we give our honest thoughts and perspectives. We're mostly your host, Frosty. Had to go and do a thing. See what they've got going on, and this single is called Is This the Real You? Man, why does everyone always gotta make Satan look?
Alright, so Alt Control Safe. And all of this seems like it will work up to the very end. Now at this point, I would go ahead and send it to render, but that is essentially how our videos are edited. Hopefully this was helpful. Doppler, hopefully you were able to follow this. And if anyone has any suggestions for how I can make this process easier or just the flow better, feel free to mention it down below. And just as a reminder, this is DaVinci Resolve Studio 20. That's what I've been working on, and I don't particularly care to use anything else. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, keep rolling happy.